Take a deep breath in, and on the outward breath, just allow your eyes to close. That's it. And just notice your breathing start to slow down. That when you breathe in slower, longer, and deeper. And as you exhale, feel a sense of release. Almost like tension, stress, or worries are melting away and leaving your body in that outward breath. And set the intention that when you breathe in 1% deeper than the previous breath. Feeling your chest, your diaphragm expand. And as you exhale, just allow that outward breath to go on a little bit longer than it normally would, noticing that the deeper you breathe, the more the tension in your forehead and around your eyelids starts to smooth and relax. That the breathing slows down, and position your body in a way where you feel most comfortable. And use the power of that imagination to imagine breathing in a bright, vibrant color of resourcefulness. And this could be whatever resources you value most. Maybe it's mental clarity. Maybe a feeling of vitality, alertness. As you breathe in that vibrant color, feel your headspace improving. Going deeper and deeper relaxed now. And I wonder if you can use the power of your imagination to imagine a pier that overlooks water. Just imagine taking that first-person perspective, being on the pier, looking out, still breathing in that color of focus and resilience, exhaling any tension or stress. Only this time imagine looking at the motion of the water. Maybe you can see sunshine reflecting off the surface of the waves. You can't help but notice those boats going about their business, some recreational, some fishing. Just get a sense of calm and tranquility. And I want you to do what you sometimes do when looking out on the water. You intuitively and effortlessly relax your eyes and drift off to a place in your imagination. Memories have come to you on that pier. Thoughts of the future have come to you on that pier. And for a while now, you've been holding on to a belief that alcohol, and in particular wine, has got a grip on you. That in some way you need it. And I wonder if we can challenge that belief right now. I wonder what would happen if you could drink as much wine as you wanted, so long as you took a dive from the pier first into the water, and upon leaving the water You had permission to drink one bottle of wine at a speed and rate of your choosing. Just entertain that idea that if that was the price of admission of drinking wine, maybe you would save up those times that you would dive in. Maybe you'd wait to sunny days, blue skies, warm water. And if that was the price of admission to buying one bottle of wine, would you choose to use that wine on a moment of celebration? Or would you choose to use it on a random Tuesday evening while watching travel shows on a laptop? I want you to get a sense that there is no vice-like grip that alcohol has on you. It's just become too easy, too familiar. And the moment you introduce any friction, the amount you drink will go down. And if your unconscious acknowledges that that is true, let me know by nodding your head. So just use the power of your imagination to imagine going to the edge of the pier, fully clothed and diving in, feeling the freshness, the coldness of the water. And as you come out, clothes soaking wet, I want you to imagine going to a shop just across the road where you work, water dripping, seeing the confused faces of people around you, and try your hardest to pretend like nothing's changed, and go up to that section of the store, feeling the wetness of your clothes, hearing the squelchy sound in your shoes, and imagine choosing that wine you normally choose. Maybe seeing an old lady looking at you, dripping wet, as you feel that you're trying to confidently walk down the aisle of the store with that squelchy sound, and imagine paying for that wine. And if it took that to buy the wine, I want you to think of a time that you would save it for, because you would make the evaluation. You're not willing to dive into the water every time you want a bottle of wine. And maybe you would choose a really special occasion to drink that wine. And when you did drink that wine, would you do it mindlessly while watching a show on YouTube? Or because you earned it by doing something strange and difficult? Would you really savor each taste, save it for a special occasion, and when you drink it slow and enjoy it? And I want you to feel that your unconscious is giving you a roadmap to your best relationship with alcohol. That if you had to do something challenging or embarrassing to acquire it, you would be more discerning about when you drink it. And therefore your future is not about the absence of alcohol, but the discernment of alcohol. I want you to think about being in your place of work and an idea pops into your head. An idea of a laptop open, glass of wine by the side. And I want you to shrink that thought down to a dot and then whoosh, change it to an idea where you see yourself like you're watching someone that looks like you in the same room with the same laptop, but with a cool glass of water. And I want you to see that you enjoy the experience more because you're in control of your life, and knowing the next day you'll have more focus, more resilience, and a better headspace. And I want you to make the color where you see yourself, perhaps watching a show with a glass of water, or being immersed into a good book, or perhaps walking your dog, as infinitely more enjoyable than the mindless drinking of wine that steals your focus, steals your resilience, and takes away clear thinking. And try that again. Try and think of being there with a glass of wine, and then whoosh, shrink it down to a dot and replace it with a big image, seeing yourself not needing it. And seeing how your life improves as you expand that over time. By not drinking from Sunday to Thursday, slowly at first, and then more, the quality of your life improves. Your body composition improves. You feel leaner, stronger, more alert. People around you notice. They notice your increasing confidence, self-assurance. And I want you to get a sense that that future feels more appealing than a future of habitual drinking. But just hold on to one idea. And that is that wine is not off limits. It's always a choice. And you've had several years of choosing to drink almost every day. And that's got you where you are. And you can continue, or you can make a change. And I want you to imagine going into that supermarket, not dripping wet this time, just as you normally would, and finding the aisle where the wine is kept, looking at it in the same way you normally would. I want you to imagine picking it up, looking at the label, and then putting it back on the shelf. And maybe you've never done that even once before. And this is what means you're creating a new neural pathway. You pick it up, you put it back, and imagine going to somewhere else in the store where you buy the most random thing or combination of things that you can find. Maybe you buy an odd-shaped fruit. Maybe you buy something that is the most feminine thing in the store. I want you to imagine doing something that would feel uncomfortable or odd, as that person at the checkout is so used to you buying that wine, and this time they see you buying something perhaps odd or strange. And I wonder how many times you would need to do that before your mind makes the evaluation that you don't even need to be in that store. And if you're not in the store, then you didn't buy the wine. And if you didn't buy the wine, then you can't open it when you return. And then it can't be in a glass by the side of your laptop. I want you to feel that you're preventing something from happening before it happens. And just imagine doing that, buying random things. And then, just like diving into the water, I want you to make an agreement with yourself that whenever you want, you can buy wine in that store. But the price of admission is to do a silly dance for 60 seconds. And imagine doing that. Imagine being in your own body, in the aisle with the wine, waiting for someone to also be in that same aisle. And imagine doing a ridiculous dance. The rationale being that if you were truly addicted, you wouldn't think twice about doing a silly dance for a minute. You're simultaneously proving to yourself that you're not addicted, and also that you don't want it that badly. And if you're willing to make that unconscious contract with yourself, that you can have it whenever you want if you're willing to pay the price of admission, let me know by nodding your head. Because for some people, even if the cost of the wine doubled or trebled, that wouldn't make a difference. But doing something even slightly embarrassing means that an absolute yes becomes an absolute no. In the same way that if you had a glass of that wine and someone spat into the wine and started putting a spoon in the glass and twisting it round, mixing it all together, what seconds before was an absolute yes is now an absolute no. But not for an addict. A true addict would see the bubbles of spit and phlegm and drink it anyway. And that's not you. I want you to feel that during the week, you're going to introduce a new parameter, a little bit of friction to test just how badly you want wine. And there will be those evenings that even if you didn't buy it from the store, you feel some kind of an urge. And maybe that urge is just an echo of the past. So I want you to imagine how you would feel if you tested how badly you wanted the wine. The price of admission is to wait until after you've eaten, and to walk, not drive, to the nearest store. The agreement being that if you still want it after you've eaten, and if you're willing to walk to get it, then it means that you really do want it, in which case, why not have it? And if you're willing to make that just enough friction to test that midweek drinking is always an option, but by adding a few hurdles you make it a less desirable option. But given the choice of reading or watching a show with a glass of water, or having a long walk to the local store, one option will feel more appealing than the other. But I want you to imagine, to prove to yourself that it's always there, that you imagine doing that. Imagine thinking that you want wine and telling yourself that you're going to wait until after dinner. Imagine eating dinner and checking if you still want that wine, and if you do, then perhaps either alone or walking a dog to that nearby store, and then imagine buying it. No need for a dance. The walk is the price of admission. No need to buy something random. The friction is being there already. And then imagine returning, and imagine what time that might be. Maybe 8 p.m. And if you still want it, you can drink it. But don't be surprised if you don't even want it after walking all that way to get it. Sometimes just knowing that you can have it is enough to realize that you don't even want it. And I wonder how many times you would need to take that walk before you realize that there is an infinitely better option. And that is that if you choose to drink on a Friday or Saturday evening, you can. Ideally in a social situation, but it's there. That there is a future of drinking on a Friday or Saturday, special occasions or vacations, and that would give you the enjoyable elements of drinking wine, and it would reduce all of that wine drinking that was just mindless rather than mindful. I want you to feel that you don't need to drink wine when you're alone. It's just a thief of your focus, your resilience. It's a thief of you being at your best. And I wonder if there was a punishment that took 20% of the quality of your life, what crime would be worthy of such a brutal punishment? 20% less focus, being in a less optimal mood, being easier to trigger or manipulate. What crime would be worthy of that punishment? Just decide that drinking during the week is like getting a punishment for a crime that you didn't commit. You can drink the wine if you choose to, but give yourself a couple of hurdles to test if this is something you really want, or it's just a habit that's become autopilot that is now taking more than it's giving. And if your unconscious is ready to now make a change, let me know by nodding your head. The discipline here is not forever. The discipline is to hold yourself to a higher standard. Those first few times of going to the store, that the price of admission of buying a wine in that nearby store is a silly dance. And in the further store, there's a 20-minute walk. And the willingness to introduce that discipline is the very key that sets you free. And if you're willing to introduce that level of friction, let me know by nodding your head. The way a change is made is not by saying you can't. It's by saying, of course you can, you just don't want to. And I wonder if it will be days or weeks until your mind reaches a new conclusion that you can drink but don't want to. And at that point, you will feel a sense of freedom. So feel that freedom now as you return to the present moment, taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect fully into the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.